Good evening and welcome back to Mystic Matters. And guess where we are, Tricia Walsh?
Well, I know where we are. We are in our brand new studio.
Right here on 80 Plaza Road in Groton, Connecticut. And we want to congratulate Frank Ficini and crew on this beautiful new studio. And maybe somewhere down the line, I'm probably speaking for Frank, we can have a little get-together here.
That would
to
be
show
very
off
nice.
the studio. But how exciting for Frank and crew
Yes.
to be here hosting Mystic Matters.
It
For the
is.
actually, this is the very first show that we have.
It is. This has been a year of change for Mystic Matters because not only have we been on the road and doing those segments, we're now in a brand new studio with all new equipment, and it's nice and air conditioned in here, so we're very happy right now.
And I understand we have two volunteers that will be helping us out in the future, Al and B.
Yes.
And we're going to welcome them a little bit later on. They're kind of getting used to the studio as well. So we want to welcome them and congratulate Frank on his new venture and, of course, our new venture with Mystic Matters.
Absolutely.
So we've been on the road
3 times?
3 times now, so you're going to be seeing a lot of those shows coming up, and it's very, very exciting to have that program as well. So Mystic Matters has gone through a lot of changes, but a lot of positive changes. And this evening, we've got some great, great people on the show this evening. So why don't you go ahead, Tricia, and introduce them.
Well, it's very nice to have Lee Paradise, founding member of Horses Healing Humans, and board member Thor Torgerson from Horses Healing Humans as well as guests
And
on our show
welcome.
tonight.
Thank you.
And welcome. So that is also a mouthful. Horses Healing
Yes.
Humans.
I did stumble on that. a bit.
Yeah, and I would stumble on so we're going to sort of refer to HHH.
Yeah.
There you
You
go.
know, I think that's it's kind of like a
There you go.
code, you know, an FBI code, but we're going to refer to that. But who's going to take the lead on this? I think you're the founding member, Lee. Why don't you take us the lead on this and tell us, number one, where you're located, okay, and what exactly are you doing?
Well, first of all, we're located at Starbrook Stables at 340 New London Turnpike, which is Route 184 in Stonington. We have a lovely site there that gives us everything that we need to run our programs without being overly big or busy. It's a very therapeutic feeling to the space. We have a small indoor arena. We have sensory trails, which we did not have in our original location. And we see clients with physical, cognitive, and psychosocial or behavioral challenges and disabilities. So it's children, adults, veterans. It's a wide, wide range of people that we work with.
Now, was this a dream of yours, or how did this come to be?
Part of it was a long-time dream. I was a dental hygienist for 35 years and also a horsewoman for all of my life. And my horses were always my sounding board when anything was going on with me. That was always my therapy. And I thought, how
Your
cool,
friend.
my friend, yeah.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to develop a program for women in transition using, you know, the sentient, sensitive nature of the horse for healing purposes. And women are always in transition.
Oh
Never
yeah.
stops.
Well, women are either on they're in transition or on medication. I mean, it's one or the other. I kind of like the transition with the horses better.
Yeah, so,
Men
so
are in transition as well.
Well, yes, but it's not. Thor, we'll get to that in a minute.
So anyway, it was a major transition of my own that caused this to happen. I was practicing at a very high level in dentistry and enjoying that, not loving it, but enjoying it, wishing I had more time to work with horses, wishing I had time to develop this program for women in transition that we call Wits End. And one day on the way to work, I had a driver pull out in front of me and I couldn't stop. I T-boned him, slammed into the steering wheel, carpal tunnel injuries, traumatic brain injury. So in that one, moment,
Changed your life.
I lost everything that I needed to be able to practice dental hygiene. You can't do it without hands
Right.
or
Oh,
cognition.
right.
So it was a rough 18 months. of
So a difficult
healing.
story, but that turned into something very positive.
Well, the therapeutic riding was part of my therapy to recover. I helped to regain the use of my hands and the strength in my hands. And the cognition part, the processing, the thinking. And I did my therapeutic riding instructor certification as part of that therapy too, which really kicked my brain back into gear because I couldn't think. But doing that program, I had to.
Yeah, and that's one of the interesting things I think that most people don't know about therapeutic riding. They think mostly it's special needs children working with autism or post-traumatic stress, but it actually is applicable to medical, brain injuries and physical injuries as well. So it's a broad-reaching kind of therapy and modality. So it's great stuff for everybody.
Now, how long has the organization been?
Horses Healing Humans has been, it's about 3 years now, 2 years at the current location.
We incorporated in 2011. We incorporated the very end of June, so technically July 1st, 2011. We moved the program July 1st of 2012. We assumed the lease at the barn that we're at now on July 1st of 2013. And then 2014 looks like another transitional year. So we do a lot of transitions ourselves.
Yeah. Well, Thor, we talked about Wits End with women. You're on the board.
Yes.
Okay, and how many board members are there?
It's in flux. There's, I think, 7.
We have a couple of openings right
Yeah.
now.
Okay,
We've had a
all right.
couple of people on our board move away, so we have some openings. We have 5 solid members.
Yeah, my position I came to an open house at, it's a little more than, almost 2 years now, that Horses Healing Humans had an open house. I saw it advertised in the paper. I was a Western rider from childhood. My mother got me into riding and just wanted to help out. It's one of those that horses are therapy just to be around them. They make you feel good. A lot of the people that come volunteer at the barn have been horse people who have left and followed careers and didn't have horse time or didn't have their own horses.
They're in
So
horse deprivation
Yes,
mode.
horse deprivation is kind of what we call it. So they come back and had an opportunity and basically dove in with both feet, was a volunteer and kind of working my way through. I'm trying to work on becoming an instructor in training as well. So there's a lot of that, and then being part of the board is also helping Lee direct the facility. So it's a busy, full-reaching kind of role.
So where do the horses come from that you have there?
We have an interesting variety of horses. No two are
Great
alike.
horse.
We have 7 horses of all different breeds, different sizes, different temperaments. Some of them came from our original program. Only one has been with us for the entire time, and interestingly enough, she's the one that doesn't do any of the riding program, or very little. She works in the psychotherapy programs because she is so very sensitive and so very
She's sensitive
honest.
herself.
Yes, very, very honest. So if there's a rider that has, a very prickly energy about them, she's not willing to work with them necessarily. We don't want to put somebody on that horse. However, especially with the veterans, there's a lot of learning that occurs in that situation because she's communicating in a nonverbal way and they get it. They might not be able to do it with other people, but they get it with the horse.
Right.
So they are, some of them are free leased, some are donated, some are rescued.
Okay. Now, how do you match up, let's say, a particular horse to a certain person? I mean, there's got to be, just like in any relationship, a match there. How do you know that that's the right match going forward with the program for this particular needs of your client?
That's why we have a huge variety because with the physical disabilities and the psychosocial disabilities especially, you have to take into consideration the width of the horse. So the type of gait that the horse has. Some riders need more input from the horse. A horse with, a real bumpy ride. Others need a very smooth ride. Some are very, very severely unbalanced and need a horse that's kind of wide and couch-like to keep them on. And others have a very high tone and wouldn't be able to straddle a wider horse, so they need a narrower horse to ride. And then you have to take into account the temperament of the clients as well. Some are a good match.
Yeah, and that's something that we work with all of our riders and the horses. Every horse has its own personality, and not all of our clients actually ride the horses. Some of it is unmounted therapy. And it's basically grooming with the horse or just spending time with the horse, because horses are what they call empaths or empathetic. Basically what they are is mirrors of your own emotional state. So if you're in an agitated state, they'll immediately let you know that by putting their head up, pricking their ears up, eyes very attuned. Or if you're very relaxed and very calm, they'll drop their heads and their eyes will become relaxed. And so it's very easy to mirror, say if you're working with a child with emotional problems or kind of like anger management issues. It's very easy when they start to escalate their frustration levels that the horse immediately kind of mirrors that, and you can say, okay, well, relax and let's watch and see how the horse is reacting. And it really teaches them kind of to see how their emotions are kind of escalating visibly outside. And then we also work with, from the relationship standpoint, is creating a bond with something that you can trust, and it's something that most people don't get to spend time with a large animal like that. And especially that is so empathetic that they show as much love as you give them. So it's kind of like horses are we actually have a new Clydesdale who's out there, Aaron, who
A new Clydesdale?
A Clydesdale, yes.
How big is this horse?
He's
Enormous.
He is wonderful.
I mean, I've seen the Clydesdale. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
they're huge animals.
17 and a half hands is I think
Yeah.
what he's.
His feet are
his
this
feet
big
are as
around.
big as dinner plates.
And is he a very nurturing, kind
Yeah.
horse?
And that's
He
kinda
would
what I
like
was
to
gonna
sit
say.
in your lap.
He would literally, he would stand here in the studio
Okay.
and just kind
He
of.
leans
Would
up
he
and
fit in
hugs
the
you.
studio?
No.
Through the
Not
door?
really. No, the door's too wide, too narrow.
Oh my
But
gosh.
Aaron was brought in. One, we have, we're working on getting a men's veteran program. So there was a weight issue that we needed to address. So we needed a large horse who could carry 200 plus pounds, because
I
every
see.
horse has a weight limit of what they can carry. So we can't have a riding program if we don't have a horse that will carry a grown man. So, but also we wanted a horse that was something that also working with an animal that's that large. And we have 10-year-old, 12-year-old girls who, lead him by themselves, and it's one of these things that it is very empowering to work with an animal like that, to kind of say, well, he's working with me and we're working together, and it makes them feel it's like they can do anything. So it's a very kind of empowering piece of the program. But Aaron and I bonded immediately when he came there, and it was one of those things that horses will actually join up because they're a herd animal and they want to be part of a group. So if you fit with an animal, they'll join up. And we work with our clients as well. And sometimes we'll do that. We'll put the horses in the ring and let them get in the ring and see which ones like each other and which ones don't, and how emotionally they connect. So it's really, it's an interesting exercise to watch when you're working with the kids and doing that, because some kids will click right with the horse, and it creates a lifelong kind of relationship. So it's awesome. It's a great program.
Well, so we know that with the programs that you offer and being a nonprofit, that must have a huge overhead. How do you fundraise? And
We all know about
Yes.
these things.
yes.
Yes.
How do you raise funds in order to support this organization?
In any way we can.
Yes.
I do as much grant writing as I can find time for. We have donors that step forward and help us out in many different areas. We're working on developing relationships with some of the social service agencies. We have a program that comes in from Vista Vocational and Life Skills on Tuesdays with a group of young adults. So they help to subsidize some of the costs of the programming. DCF, DDS, UCFS, all of those programs will help with some funding. Some of the schools are starting to pick up funding. Stonington schools send students and they cover the cost of their therapy. And they're starting to send them more than once a week now because they're seeing huge results.
Wow.
So Stonington, East Lyme, Waterford Country Day School all send us students. And we're working at developing some relationships with Westerly Hospital, maybe Bacchus Hospital, Natchog Hospital, and expanding programming within that.
So you've got a big fundraiser coming up
Well,
in
still
about
the
a week here.
majority of funds that we generate is through just grassroots fundraising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's through through donations from friends of the barn, or people who see what we're doing, they want to help us out and things like that.
Well,
Or
it's
we have
also because
fundraisers
it's an
and
effect
right.
in the local community. I mean,
Correct.
you're going to
Correct.
see the work that you've done actually, come to life in some of these, the kids and the veterans and the disabilities with some of these, people that come to your organization. So programs, everybody out there, are really, really tough and to get funded. So again, HHH, I love that, HHH, could use your help at any time. But there is one big fundraiser that's coming up in about a week or so, about May 25th.
May
And
25th.
I love this. It's called Barn Dance and Cowboy Dinner.
Dinner.
I know about the barn dance. I'm not really sure about the cowboy dinner. I mean, I don't know if it's salmon or filet or whatever, but
No.
it's certainly, maybe Lee, you could,
Yeah.
kind of bring us up to speed on what this is all about that evening and the
And
fun
Johnny
stuff.
and East Coast Rockers.
And
so
Johnny,
that's
well, I understand you're
not
building a
sticking with-
dance floor.
Not sticking with the theme at all. So
Right,
it's
right.
kind
So
of
we've got Johnny Lee
yes.
and East Coast Rockers.
Yep.
Great, I know Johnny very well. So tell us about this event that's coming up, because it sounds great. First of all, tell us about the food.
Yeah, well, so it's not going to be a skillet full of beans, which is the typical cowboy
Well, I was
dinner.
wondering.
So it's going to be steaks and burgers and ribs and chicken and those types
Okay.
of things on the barbecue, and soft drinks and things like that with good music and a good event with good people, and we've got a lot of things going on. So it's going to be, we'll have the horses out there so you can meet the herd. They'll be dancing, and it'll be a good time for everybody. And like you said.
This was actually hosted by Dr. Stefana Petcher and Johnny and the
And
East
Johnny,
Coast Rockers.
okay.
They came to me asking if they could do this. So this wasn't even our idea.
Right.
They came to us and very
But you'll
generously
take all
wanted to do
new
this.
ideas.
And
Yes,
it also
all new ideas, please, yes.
But it also supports the Lyme disease research foundation, which
Okay.
is a big deal to us because not only do we have riders coming to us with the effects of Lyme disease,
Very
but we
debilitating.
have to treat our
Yes.
horses
Very
for Lyme
animals as
disease
well.
as
Yeah.
well. And when you have to treat a horse for Lyme disease, it's 45 pills of doxycycline at $1 a pill twice a day for 8 weeks. So
Wow.
finding
If you think a cat is hard to give pills.
Yeah.
Right, right. Well, Tricia can tell you about
Yes,
the
exactly.
feed
We were
here,
talking about that.
Yeah.
Tried it, yeah.
We can get them
But-
to eat it. It's,
Yeah.
it's affording it. And,
Right,
the ticks are out and the horses do
Right.
get Lyme disease and they can be extremely debilitated. One of the horses from our original program did not come with us for that reason. He had Lyme disease that had gone untreated for so long
Oh, no.
that we really weren't able to rehabilitate him, no matter what we tried.
So this is May 25th.
Yes,
Coming
that's one,
right
of the
up.
great, that's one of the
Noon
great
to 4.
things because we work
Okay.
with other charities as well. So it's kind of like we're helping our charity and other things
Mm-hmm.
that are going on. So it's really, it's going to be a great event. And there's also the raffle.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about that raffle.
So, yes.
Let's really talk
Let's
about
talk
that
about
we
the
raffle.
raffle.
we have an anonymous donor
Yeah.
who has donated a
Well, I'm actually
At
wearing
Praise
it.
Spectacular,
Yes,
spectacular
yes,
grand
diamond
prize.
tennis bracelet
it
appraised
really
at
is. I don't know.
$12,000.
It's praised at $12,000.
Yep.
That's correct. And I'm actually wearing it. I don't know. Might not be set up for a really close up, but it does sparkle, and I'm wearing it right here. It's absolutely beautiful, and I understand there'll be a 3-month. The raffle tickets will be selling opportunity for
purchase,
3 months
yes.
to
So-
purchase.
Right. It will
right?
go through August 2nd,
Okay.
which is another event coming up. We have a timed and scored trail challenge event followed by a pig roast, and that's when we're
We
going
have
to do.
cowboy dinners. We
the
have pig
raffle.
roasts.
That sounds
Tricia.
fun. I think
mean,
this sounds really
we've
fun.
got it all.
Yeah.
HorsesHealingHumansCT.com. And you
Okay.
can find all of the things. I'm sure we'll be able to kind of put that up later or something. But
And
the
how
website
much
has
are the
everything.
raffle tickets for?
The raffle tickets are $100 a piece.
Okay.
There are 6 prizes total. So there's the tennis bracelet, but then
Obviously,
there's
yeah.
also a cowboy dinner for 10 provided by our staff, either at our facility or at your home. There is a semester of therapeutic riding lessons. That's
Wow.
worth $500. There are tickets to our September farm to table dinner, which we
Which
do
is an
out in the
incredible
field.
event.
Yeah.
And so some other prizes on there as well. So that will be drawn on August 2nd at the pig
Yeah, and you can come to the barn to purchase tickets, or members of the board and some of the critical staff will be out in the community, stopping by places and just kind of soliciting and trying to get the sales.
Now, you mentioned staff, and so how many staff members do you have, or is it really you?
It's Lee, and Lee, like HHH, LLM.
I'm like a double time, half staff, half volunteer. We have Catherine Vine, who, all of our staff trained at High Hopes, which everybody knows.
Everybody
It's
knows
a
High Hopes,
fantastic, long-standing, highly regarded facility. We've all trained there, and we've taken a lot of their systems with us. We're just on a much smaller basis. So Catherine Vine trained there. She's an advanced instructor. She's there about 32 hours a week. Shannon Piermont is trained there as well and worked there. She's with us on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It looks like we'll all be adding hours in the summer. The program's
Not a
growing.
bad thing.
Not a bad
Yeah,
thing. Not a bad problem to
thing.
have.
Right.
It's just,
Right.
another transition to
Yeah.
get through. But yeah, we'll probably all be pretty much full-time starting this summer if things keep going as they
Yeah, and I
have.
think a big piece to what we're trying to do is purchase the property where we're at currently.
Oh, okay.
So that will
All
allow
right.
us to really expand our program.
So this
it's
is a
kind of for us
goal
to
that
do.
you have, and this is a
Exactly.
very large goal,
Exactly.
obviously.
It's a
Yeah.
large and immediate goal because there are aspects of the program that are somewhat dependent upon us being able to stay in this facility.
I see.
One is that we're going for accreditation with Path International. We are a Path International member center, but the accreditation process is, one more step. But it's site-specific. So
Yeah.
we can't.
But it lends
we
also
can't get a-
credibility to your organization, too.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and it gives us the opportunity to be considered for more grants and more programs. The Wounded Warrior Project is one of them that we'd really like to work with, but you have to be a PATH accredited center. We're ready, we just need to know that we're going to be there because the accreditation doesn't go with us.
I
It,
see.
it goes with
It's
us
facility,
at that
right.
facility only because
Right.
there are facility standards that need, very
Well, that makes
stringent
sense.
standards that need
makes
to be
sense.
met. Yeah. So until we know that we're able to stay there, we're kind of on hold with the whole accreditation process. That puts us on hold with the Wounded Warrior Project, and it puts us on hold with a number of major grants. So it's
So we're
somewhat
working
urgent.
real hard to try and raise money to purchase the property. I think we'll definitely be able to expand.
And can people stop by for tours, or
We
how-
prefer by appointment because it is an equine facility. It's a very busy place. We aren't necessarily available to take somebody around on a
One-on-one.
tour one-on-one at a moment's
Yeah,
notice.
and
We're
also
probably
respecting the privacy of some of the clients.
yeah, if we
So
have a
they're-
psychotherapy session going on, it's not appropriate for somebody else to be there during that time. So we do ask that you make an appointment, and then we'll be happy to. Or
Yeah.
come during an open house. We have one this week. Saturday, we have an open house from 3 to 5. And that's a great time to see and meet everybody.
See the herd and find out everything about it. It's really, that's, get to meet Aaron, the Clydesdale,
And all the rest.
and all the
all
rest.
the rest? I think that, having been, we did your ribbon cutting when you were in the
Yes.
location last year, and having been there, it's just, it is
An
such a
experience,
nice
yeah.
experience. So, even if it's not something that you would be inclined to necessarily do if you weren't into horseback riding or something like that, just coming down and you see it, and then you kind of want to just hang out with the horses
Kinda touches
and meet
your
them
heart.
all
Yeah.
and see what's going on. So it's definitely a beautiful location, and
Yeah,
the
we
horses
really
are
like
quite
it there. We've put a lot of effort into it.
Well, we only have a few minutes, and if you could just do a short version of just one experience, Lee, that has really changed your life with a client, maybe.
Oh, pick one? Help,
Or
step
maybe-
in. I've got too many.
Yeah,
That's kind of tugged at your heart, has made a difference.
a lot of the children that we have who come in with across the board spectrum of autism, a lot of them are non-communicative or non-verbal. And when we have worked with children over a series of months, and to actually hear them speak their first words and hear them talk, and it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
I mean, those are really the events
Gives
that
me
are.
goosebumps just
Yeah,
listening
I
to
mean,
that.
and
It's
it's,
fantastic, yeah.
you know, unfortunately, with therapeutic riding, it's still in this phases of like chiropractic and acupuncture used to be. It's, you know, people look at it and it's holistic. So the medical community is still kind of has their questions of whether it really applies or not. And where they're seeing it, I mean, it's anecdotal data, but, you know, we're seeing these children make strides, you know, in communication and in, you know, mobility and in.
You can't
you know,
make that up, Thor.
You cannot.
You just can't
And
make
it's,
that
yeah,
up.
it's,
Well, we're going to leave you this evening, May 25th, noon to 4. An ongoing raffle is going on for 3 months. A $100 ticket will get you a really, really good prize. I'm wearing it now, and of course, there's other raffle items available too. But congratulations
Thank you.
on your new venture, trying to acquire the property as well. So May 5th, 25th, get out there from noon to 4 for that at least cowboy dinner, whatever that is.
visit the website.
And visit the website again. It's
Yep, horseshealinghumans.ct.org.
okay. And
That's all the
Trisha Walsh,
information.
it's just it feels good here.
It does. It feels
It
new and
good.
fresh.
Yeah, it
and-
smells good, and we're all set to go for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So we are the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. Mystic Matters. Good evening.